Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Modern Day Mystics Show. Our mission here is to help you turn whatever you desire into real-life manifestations by sharing our revolutionary technology to make that happen for you. We bring you such cutting-edge information through our resident wizard, Peter Schenk, and also through such magical guests each week that are really making a difference to improve our lives on a variety of levels. I am your co-host, Donna, along with the founder of this program, the Modern Day Mystic himself, Peter.
Hey,
Peter, how are you?
I am doing great. Everyone get a glass of water. I want to do a source activation, source 5 activation in honor of our guests tonight.
Awesome.
This is just going to be a manifestation. So get that energy in your head. Just going to set these up quickly. Everyone getting the Wasser? I speak German too sometimes. Manifestation, consciously directing it into water. The only thing that is required of the listening audience is to put your attention on the water when we enter the source 5. Source 5 does everything else. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Water prep is running. Again, folks, this is all in honor of our guests tonight. It's going to be a very magical show. They've got really, really amazing technology that Donna and myself have been experiencing about the last 6 or 7 weeks, and it just keeps getting better. And there is no coincidence that we had issues with the last show because we just wanted them to come back again and again. That's it. Everyone go ahead and drink your water.
Cheers.
Hey, there I am. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the MDM show. A couple of quick announcements tonight. We are working very hard on the 30-day Body, Mind, and Spirit Challenge. We have completed to date 16 of the 30-day videos. They have been uploaded, but they are private until we actually launch it in the new year. We're still working on a target date. This has been just a huge undertaking for everyone involved. The videos are absolutely beautiful. They're jam-packed with amazing information. And, you know, I've received a couple emails that, you know, if you have already subscribed to the list, don't worry, you're on there. You're also probably subscribed to the Modern Day Mystic Master List, so we're repeatedly pushing out the social media in that master list about getting signed up. So if you are signed up, you haven't missed anything. We have not sent any emails out to that list. And I don't suspect we will until sometime in the new year. We're just building it now, and we're working very, very diligently and hard to deliver something you have never seen before. It's absolutely perfect. With that said, earlier in the week, we introduced the HFA Mini. Again, I don't know how well you can see this, but this is the third creation and the final creation in the family of products. Again, it is thumb activated. It is your personal quantum shield. I'm not going to say too much about what it's been doing for me, but I have sent out about half a dozen of these to some folks to test, and they should be getting them over the next couple of days. And with that said, we will have more of a report for you. The website will be hosting these probably by Wednesday or Thursday this week. I suspect they'll be on sale. Again, we have a very limited supply. The larger production orders coming in January. You know, once you see the email, they're probably going to be gone in 24 hours. They are priced to move very aggressively. And if you own the HFA Plus for home and office, or the HFA, A New Way to Travel, you know what you're dealing with. And then, of course, in the Mini, is absolutely beautiful and mind-blowing. With that said, Donna, tell us about our guests, please.
You bet, you bet. So, tonight we have back with us Gail and Gregory Hoag. When people meet Gregory and Gail Hoag, they sense a rare relationship full of consciousness and love. Gregory, scientist and leading expert on sacred geometry, along with Gail, artist, business, and health consultant, founded Metaforms 31 years ago. They create energetic tools that support people to evolve into higher awareness with source and heart consciousness. They are recognized as experts on sacred geometric technologies for renewing health, raising consciousness, reducing stress, manifesting purpose, and clearing electromagnetic interference. Welcome back, Gail and Gregory.
So before we jump in, I just want to say that I have been using a piece of their technology, and so has Donna, for the last 6 or 7 weeks. And, you know, we have a lot of amazing guests on the show that have a lot of beautiful and bizarre talent that create all kinds of things. Ken Rowland has got an absolutely mind-blowing rest shield, and Thundar has got some amazing, other technologies for holographics, which I experienced via Lyme disease. Tom Palladino has got the scalar energy, which is mind-blowing. You know, Gail and Gregory rank among those titans, and what they deliver it's absolutely mind-blowing, and I'll get into more detail with my own personal experience here in a little while. Greg and Gail, welcome back to the MDM show. How are you?
We're great. Thanks for having us, Peter. We really enjoy being with you guys.
And I love all the things that you've said. You know, when Donna was mentioning that we started our work together 31 years ago, boy, that's really pretty mind-blowing. And what's so cool is that it keeps getting better. And we're in a time now where people really understand that sacred geometry is at the core of understanding the universe. And the more we understand around that, we can utilize that technology to affect not only our consciousness, our bodies, the planet, our relationships, everything, because it's literally about the way energy flows from the spiritual realms into the physical. And so it's an exciting time, and we're just really jazzed about some of the new things that we're doing and how our technology now is orienting into a whole nother alignment with the earth energies, with Mother Gaia. And that's really a real big step for us too.
So Gregory and Gail, last time we had you on the show 5 or 6 weeks ago, we had some technical difficulties. And today, both of you are glowing immensely and radiating a lot of awesome energy. Can you kind of tell us about this new setup you got and what is happening between you with those devices that are moving around in a circle?
Okay, so you're talking about like what's here next to us right now?
Physically, yeah.
Okay.
We'll talk about the other later.
Well, you know, physical is pretty important because I think we got into this a little bit in a past show, is that so many things we deal with in this reality come from information in books, or it's stuff we write down, and so it's two-dimensional. But when you bring things into 3D and you bring some of the forms into the realm where we exist, and then you work with the right materials and the right shapes, and you can, in this case, have it turning. What it does is it radiates a field. It starts, as Gail was mentioning, you know, more and more information is coming out about what is creating this reality. And science has been able to measure literally a single photon and found that it has a geometric shape. There are scientists that are starting to measure the disbursement of super galaxies in our universe and find that they're following very particular patterns that put them into octahedral shapes. And so more and more of what is coming in is what's going on in the universe is geometric, and when we bring that geometry into our environment, it's such a perfect distillation of the archetypes that have created everything that it starts affecting our energy as well. And so we can shift our environments, we can shift internally how we're feeling, the emotional body, just by having a difference of the geometries that are around us. And so what we've been working on this year for the last 8 or 9 months is bringing a chamber into existence. And so what I'll do now is I will show you actually a video of that chamber, and this is not far from our house. Let's see if I can get this operating. Uh-oh. Well, tell you what. I know this little one works. It did work. Phooey. Okay.
Too much energy flying around again.
I don't know. This, yeah. It'd be nice to have some excuse other than my techno fallback.
It works great.
Yeah, let's make a metaphysical issue out of this. It's all metaphysical, and you know, this is the overlay of the dove.
It's reality as we move through it. Oh, must be a blip in the matrix.
A blip in the matrix. So this is our land right there, and where we are, where we have activated different places around the United States to activate the overlay of the dove, which is something that was talked about in J.J. Hurtak's Keys of Enoch. And I'm going back to that slide. Where we've activated, I realized later, formed a perfect cross from the head of the dove to the tail of the dove and the wings. And now I'm hoping that, okay, well, I have a very nice entry point there with my deer skull, but I'm afraid I can't show you this whole thing.
Do you have some still shots you can put up?
That would be nice, but they're not on this computer at the moment. So the other day everything worked fine, so it must be the bottom line. I'll just talk us through it. So what's going on inside that chamber you didn't see? We have a large tube wrapped with wire where we're putting frequencies through that tube. It's counter wrapped with material that's made out of spun basalt. And so within the chamber itself, we have large forms spinning in different directions, 3 or 4 of them, different types of geometries and shapes, like what we have here behind us. And some of these were specially designed for this chamber. We're working with toroids that I've created out of geoplasma material, geopolymers, I mean to say. So I worked with a physicist for a month or so where we developed a material that people are maybe familiar with seeing where someone will take gems, minerals, and put it in a matrix of epoxy or resin. Well, what we're doing is creating a matrix of actual physical polymer materials. So it's like solid rock, and we're creating things like granite that we can, it heats up because of the right mixtures of minerals, and then it solidifies. And so we've made donuts, toruses, that we wrap tubes through, and a torus is the way all energy in this dimension moves. It moves in spirals as it goes through the middle of the torus. It's the way energy moves through our body. It's the way the energy moves through each chakra. It's the way energy propagates, and we see it as a wave from the side, but actually it's spinning in a perfect spiral as it comes at us. So we have that in there, and in the essence, what we've done is found a way that, coupled with forms that are over 20 feet high, we've been able to move this energy into the grid system of the planet. And the planet follows patterns on its surface very similar to what we have within us as our circulatory system or our meridian system. And so what we've been doing is activating Mother's Gaia in certain nodal points that have been offline for her for an inordinate amount of time. And so by bringing these nodal points back online, by moving energy more through the planet, we are starting to not only, it's not just affecting the planet, but it's indeed affecting us, because we are so intimately tied to Mother Gaia, to Earth. And so even what she's going through right now, I think, is a reflection of what we're going through in this kind of birth throes of moving to a higher dimensional level of consciousness. And in the interim, the planet is going through so much turmoil, and so are the human beings on it. We're linked together. So we're working with energies that start bringing people into alignment with the planet and bringing the planet into alignment with higher vibrational frequencies, which allow it to function at a clearer level of operation.
You know, both individually, each human being, really all life and the planet is designed not only to evolve, but to be able to heal itself. I mean, that's why really all of the technologies that we're working with are about getting back to the essence of what is already there. If we stop doing the negative things to the earth that are creating, the kind of pollution and the disruption of so many of the systems, whether it's the way the water flow is, our climate, the temperatures, all of those things. When we stop doing the disruptive things, then inherent in the system is its ability to not only heal itself, but actually take itself to the next evolutionary level. And so some of the things that we're working with right now are about opening up those capacities to a greater level. The frequencies that we've been given have been, the relationships that they'll establish are about triggering and awakening those aspects that have virtually been asleep. So physically, we'll be able to work more directly with self-healing. The earth will be able to do that. And the relationships together are going to really create a wonderful symbiotic relationship. What we've learned is that it's so important to work with the earth grid because we are here on this physical plane. We're on Earth. And so our healing of the earth, our healing of ourselves, and all of the life is very, very closely interrelated. So the technologies are just, giving us the capacity to take that to the next step of what we're here to experience and to learn how to, to grow into it, to find out the specific ways that we are in fact designed to take ourselves to those next levels and heal what's been there that has been lesser than what we're capable of.
So, Gregory and Gail, I'm just a little bit confused. You have this amazing chamber that you've spent 9 months putting together, and you said it's a little further out from your home. And I believe in the last show you mentioned it was on some type of grid system, right? Exactly where it's placed.
Okay. I mean, what we were talking about, Peter, is, and I mentioned it again tonight, it's the grid system of the planet itself. The energetic system of the planet, there's an entry point here on our land in Colorado. We have a couple hundred acres. And it's at a critical point in the United States. And so what we're able to do is energy that we generate here, we move into the grid system of the planet. I've got forms that are some of them are 20 feet high. And I've planted similar forms like that. When I say planted, buried at certain key places around the planet. For example, where we are in the US is almost the polar opposite of where Uluru is in Australia. And so that is formerly Ayers Rock before they returned it to the indigenous name Uluru. And so that's a very, very powerful vortex. And I've known for a long time that we were connected to it. So by activating that, burying forms at that location, we're able to amplify what's going on here. So that's what I was talking about. We are able to move energy through the planet, and we're actually experimenting with different healers and practitioners on ways to use the grid system of the planet as a delivery system. Right now, so much is being done on a scalar level by people trying to broadcast energy. And that, there are many ideas on what scalar really is, but in essence, it's working with energy from a higher dimensional level. And then to depend upon that higher dimension, the fourth, fifth dimension, to move the energy around the planet, through the planet. But what we're doing is coupling those higher dimensional energies so they ride with the energy, the physical nature of Mother Gaia, the Earth herself. So that's what I mean by the grid system. It'd be like when you put an acupuncture needle in at a meridian point, it immediately activates all the meridian points within the body. It's instantaneous, the way it flows within the body. And so it is too with the grid of the planet and that system. So that's what we're activating and working with right now.
So for clarity, the chamber is still being built. It's not online yet, right? Or it is online?
It is online.
Oh, it's online. It's working.
Yeah,
What
my video isn't working. The chamber's doing fine.
Yeah, it's turned on right now.
What kind of tangible results have you seen so far with this chamber being online with the grid system?
So it has amplified a lot of the other work because we have another chamber that we use for activating the products that we make, the products you were talking about with the pendants and the eye connects. And so we've noticed an uptick in that energy and a very profound shift. We've worked with people in proximity to the chamber and had some really profound healing experiences where people have been able to feel something, I think, much deeper and more tangible than through anything any of us have experienced thus far. And so that's why I was talking about working with some other healers and finding ways to deliver what they're working with through this system, because when you're working with that chamber, what happens is it kind of is a rider with whatever energy you're putting in with it. And so it's actually bringing some of the higher dimensional work that we're able to tap into. And when I say higher dimensional, I mean literally going to source dimension. Almost everything I've seen on this planet so far has dealt mostly with fourth dimensional energy, or sometimes it moves into fifth dimensional energy. When you're especially moving into future events and working with time. What we're finding now is we're able to access sixth dimensional, which is on a level of what's happening with angelic energies. And then we've moved past that into seventh dimensional energy and literally into the level of source dimension. So it's starting to affect people in a very profound way in terms of their ability to tune in, their ability to transform their bodies. And so we're providing a stronger field to the products we already have, but we're really in the experimental stage with where we can take this new chamber next.
So just quickly, we have a question from Valerie. She's asking, what's the difference between portal energy and vortex energy?
I think it's almost the same. I mean, we're talking semantics here. What happens when I was talking about a torus, that's the way all energy moves, and you form kind of a vortex going down through the torus. It then reverses direction and comes out the other side. And this is often called a black hole. Or the flip side of the black hole is a white hole where a lot of energy is coming out. And so energy moves into the earth through this shape, this form, and that's a vortex. So you have vortexes of energy. But if you are able to ride that vortex, it literally comes through on the other side as it kind of inverted V, then it comes larger on the other side of the toroidal flow. And if you're able to ride that, it becomes a doorway, a portal. So they are very similar in sense, but we can use a vortex, a portal, with consciousness to move energy into an environment, to take energy out of an environment. When you're going counterclockwise, as seen from above, that's raising earth energy and moving it out of the system. We don't have really up or down in our reality. We think we do because we're glued to the earth and we have gravity, so we go up, down. But it's better to think of in system, out system. And when we come in system, it needs to go clockwise coming into us for the energy to build, and counterclockwise coming out of us, as seen from the outside, takes the energy out. And so we can use vortexes and portals that have been formed in the earth, that we can form over a body with, I mean, we have tools that have shapes that we found that, especially with certain magnets attached to them, because what a magnet does is it moves energy on the fourth dimension. So, I mean, science doesn't understand really what a magnet is. You ask any scientist and they don't know. It's a configuration, a molecular structure that, because of its geometry, the etheric level, the fourth dimensional etheric field moves through it. And so we can draw upon that energy with magnets to move fourth dimensional energy, which is very physical. And then we can literally use that to combine it with shape to draw in even higher dimensional energy.
Peter, I want to clarify something from what you were asking before, what we're learning from experimenting with this new technology. And intention is very, very important in all of this. And it was laid out to us that applying individual intention is a key part, because when you have potential, raw potential, you need to direct it, and your level of clarity is going to be a big part of what kind of outcome you have. What this particular energetic system is doing is it is creating a clarity, a precision, a focus, so that the intention that's being applied with these with the energy is able to manifest much more. So that can really, relate to a myriad of things. We're noticing that that level of clarity is just part of an evolving piece of this process. And, it's almost like, you polish the different facets of a diamond. And when that happens, it starts to shine more and more brilliantly. It's working with the light more and more brilliantly. And that's a big part of what this process is. So that internally, it's not like all of a sudden, you're going to shift from, one thing to the next dramatically. It's a process. So as we open our capacity to what is natural to us, which is those higher connections, that level of clarity, the capability of our DNA to know itself, to heal all the different aspects that are going on and create longevity, those capacities are there. And this is, in fact, helping us define what we're choosing more clearly and strengthen, illuminate those intentions so that the body and life experiences will respond accordingly. So that, that's a lot of what this process is about right now from my perspective.
Thank you for that clarification, Gail. So you talk about intention with the chamber, and I have a engineering background, and when the downloads come to me to build and get something out there, size does play a factor in it. So I think the easy answer about what I'm going to ask you is, why is the chamber so big? Is that because it just amplifies everything to the nth degree because it's built to specific specifications that you got from wherever? Or is it just something that you physically walk into or you put your attention on?
I wish that I'd been able to show it to you. It might have been a little more self-explanatory.
We're using our imagination here.
Okay, so size, we, to a certain extent, size makes a difference in terms of the energy that's generated. Often what I've found is it's the proper size. Something, say this size of this form next to me, which is working with a 9-inch length, was more powerful than when I had this at a 12-inch length, because 9 is a better harmonic of the 18-inch cubit that was used in Europe. And so what I'm saying is certain sizes harmonically resonate with more energy. But the chamber is the size it is just because we have forms like this stacked one above the other, and we have you know, so much going on in it that we had to make it about 7 or 8 feet high just to hold all of the equipment that's within the tube that is working with the frequencies going through that tube. So it's a function of what our needs were, and we had to build around getting all these things in. And then I have a form next to the chamber that's about 20 feet high, and that's the one that goes into the grid of the planet.
So we've kind of covered where you've come from, what you're working on now. Can you kind of give us a little insight into where you're going and what you see happening with the planet over the next 10 years, let's say?
Wow, 10 years. It's moving so rapidly. And technology is such an important part of it. And that's what we're working with, is technology, where we're finding as technology advances, we're able to draw upon some of these transition metals that are found, say, in the surface of a computer screen. We can use those in certain aspects of our chamber to increase the energy flow. So we're bound with technology, and it's moving rapidly. And so, but where we're going, I think, is into a higher level of consciousness. That's what we've been working on. Our whole 30 years we've been involved with this technology.
Peter, what I see, and you know, again, time is an illusion anyhow. I am seeing that there is incredibly rapid transformation that's on our horizon. And there's so many issues right now that we're confronting with our, you know, physical systems. And that says to me that it's time for things to go through a whole new level of transformation. We're reforming the way that we see life itself. I believe that it's going to be something where we recognize the power within. We recognize the power in that connection with the higher dimensions. And that's really where we're sourced. You know, where most people are operating on, you know, just a fragment of the potential of what they can do. And I look at that and think, you know, wow, you know, medicine, for instance, is such a small part of what we really need for healing, and really understand such a limited amount. I think we're going to be seeing the ability for people to clarify what it is that they, you know, their relationship with their bodies in such a manner that they will truly be able to manifest changes in a very, very rapid amount of time. I think the ability to create synchronistic experiences, to find the right people and the right relationships, when, you know, when people come together in harmonics, the power that's there is just extraordinary. I believe that we're in a time where our consciousness is going to be more capable of experiencing unity, when we can drop the aspects of ego and focus on the good of all. And when that happens, the magnificence of what starts to become available here on this planet is amazing. You know, it's almost like I believe the floodgates can just open, and it's going to be our opportunity to be able to integrate that and make, you know, some sense about it in a really good way.
And I totally agree with that explanation, really on every level, and I do believe it. But I have a metaphysical mind that developed after my analytical side did. So my analytical side is constantly at odds with my metaphysical and back and forth. And let's just look at the world today, right? You walk into a restaurant, you walk into a bar, you walk into a train station, anywhere where you go today. 5 years ago, there wasn't a TV, but you'll find one now. Okay, so there is this oppression, this controlling de facto, this conditioning that is using the same technology that we're using to open people's minds to shut it down. And I see these frequencies that come through the TVs all the time. I just did an MDM minute on this the other day, and it's keeping the masses asleep, so they can't. I understand everything you say because I live it and agree that we both manifest in different ways, and we both develop different tools to get to that same end result, which is waking people up and showing them things that they've been asleep about. But how are we really going to get there with all of this conditioning that still continues and is accelerating?
Well, the conditioning is accelerating because consciousness is accelerating. And really what it comes down to, all the problems, all the issues, there's only really one problem, and that's lack of consciousness. And there's only one solution, consciousness. And the thing is that it takes a much smaller amount of consciousness to shift things than it does unconsciousness, because unconsciousness folds back on itself. Anger, sadness, guilt, fear, all the negative things that go on within us emotionally and on the planet, it really comes back in on itself. And it takes very few individuals. Like, we've had some great individuals on this planet, like Buddha, Krishna, Jesus Christ, Muhammad. And if you were to take an individual that had that amount of focus, that amount of clarity, because of their connection to the bigger part of themselves, they're able to bring through more energy. And when they have that focus, that energy continues to build and continues to go out. And so what we have right now are people waking up on this planet. I mean, you've come across that, Peter. We have more and more people are realizing that what's going on with the electromagnetic frequencies, what's going on with TVs, what's going on with the toxins in the environment and in our food supply, that these things have a negative effect. And certainly we steer away from them. But bottom line, the more we open up into higher consciousness. And what that means is we're like the tip of an iceberg, where the bigger part of us exists on the higher dimensions. Only 10% of us is here in the physical. And the more we connect to that bigger part of ourselves, the more control we have over our brain, the more we can use that, the more we can influence what's going on with our DNA, the more we can bring through a clarity and a focus and a beingness that when we put energy out, it continues to grow and continues to expand in a positive way that Gail was talking about, for the good of all, that's inclusive of everyone and everything. So I'm totally optimistic about what's going on. And, you know, it's wonderful that all the stuff that's happening is happening, because then it gives us an opportunity to have service, to be discerning, to discern what's true and what's not true. You know, this has been going on the planet for thousands and thousands of years. That's what the ending of the Mayan calendar is about. That's what's going on with the Egyptian calendar and what's going on with the Vedas. When they look at the yugas, we're in the end of the Kali Yuga, the twilight, where the light's coming in to shine in the darkness. So those of us who are waking up are able to see the darkness for what it is. And that builds spiritual muscle for you to recognize what's going on that isn't of service, that isn't of the light. That's a good thing to be involved in, and it gives you an opportunity to do stuff and grow, and then to make a difference in your life by bringing through a higher consciousness from your beingness. That's going to change the world. And there are hundreds of people, thousands of people, tens of thousands. I mean, it doesn't take a very large percentage to shift the world. And it's such a wonderful opportunity to be in that space right now and feel that love that you are. And then you could be any place. Then you might as well be here. If the world were already perfect, we'd be going, oh, what is there left to do? Let's go to a planet that needs us. Let's go someplace where we can be of service.
I like that. I want to go back to Sedona and be of service. I like that place. Awesome. So we just kind of changing subjects here. Right. With your Metaforms, do you have a daily ritual that you do with the Metaforms in the morning?
Well, you know, Peter, there is, you know, it's really important that for instance, from the time that I wake up, I create an inner dialogue, and the inner dialogue is about gratitude. So I'll just start that almost like a mantra, a meditation, you know, about my gratitude for the day, for the moment, for, you know, all that is. And when, you know, we have like the tools that you and Donna have been playing with, the heart companions, when in the morning when we take the heart companion and put it on, so it's resting at the heart. When I take the eye connect and I put it in my pocket, before I do that, I create an intention. I put it between my hands, and I just ask, you know, what is for the highest good? And truly, a lot of it is really about how can I serve the best? How can I be in a place of shining the light and having the greatest impact for the good of all? And so that really is the practice. And then during the day, you know, we all get jostled. You know, we all get off of our position or off of our, you know, our centeredness. And those tools are such a great touchstone to bring us back again to that place of intention, that place of centeredness and connection. You know, when you were talking before about walking into a restaurant or a bar and you've got all this, you know, stuff going on, we've got so much vibrational energy that's incredibly disruptive. And so the more that we can impact the coherence, you know, that we're really creating that higher connection that is so much more superior to all of the other stuff, that really just becomes secondary to it. So that really is the practice, is to work with these geometries as a vehicle for greater centeredness, because in essence, they are antenna systems to those higher dimensional qualities. And they just set the day up in a beautiful way that in doing those, you know, really brief and easy ways of connecting.
It's almost like I go to put my pendant on in the morning, and I used to meditate for quite a while in the mornings, evenings, years ago. But with these tools, I've found it keeps me in that space of meditation constantly. It keeps me in that focus of why I'm here. We've done tests where we've measured what's going on in someone's body. And we see that in every case, when we put one of these tools in someone's hand, all their internal organs come into balance. Their body starts operating at a more optimal level that they can feel, and it makes a tremendous difference. And so you're with that feeling, and when you feel good, you start noticing good things happen, and it's just keeps us in that spiral of moving to higher and higher perspectives all the time. And you were saying that there were things going on with you. And Donna, I'd love to hear what some of your experiences were.
I'd like to show this beautiful piece. And, you know, I have my own ritual. I'll honor the space of something. And since I've had this, I probably wear it 3 or 4 times a week. I used to get headaches 3 times a week. Haven't had any in the longest stretch of time that I can remember. And the headaches are brought on by downloads that I get to do what I do. But the other amazing piece to this is a clarity. Okay? And everyone processes information in their head differently. I get very large downloads of information that I can very quickly pick apart. But now that I'm cruising towards 50, it's been getting a little bit harder to do that lately. And over the last 6 or 7 weeks, this has had a very useful effect on my mind, where I still get those large information dumps, but now I can bring them together very quickly, like I used to when I was maybe 35 or 36, and that is cool. I mean, it's a process to get to know it, the subtleties. You know, you wake up in the middle of the dream at the end of the project, and you're like, okay, what has changed in my life? And then boom, 30 seconds later, a minute later, there it is. And how I know this vibrates very high is it would not have come, you would not have come into my reality had the product not delivered, what you advertise it to do. But then again, like any of the things we sell, it's the raw material. Here's a unlimited instruction set, and just go out into the world and use it and get to know it and see how you do it. These are unbelievable devices, and they are very much at the top of what we've had at our disposal ever since we started this venture a decade or so ago. And of course, it just keeps getting better. So thank you for that. Very much appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. We are almost at the end of our time together. And do you guys have any last minute words of enlightenment for the MDM crowd?
Oh, I want to share that I am so jazzed tonight to know that the people of Standing Rock are getting a break here, and the pipeline is being stopped from being on their land and interrupting their resources and their heritage and all that is really rightfully theirs. And I think it's an amazing lesson, and I think it's a lesson that we all really should take to heart, that with incredible clarity and a sense of gratitude, their hearts were really just strongly out there, and their strength of beingness. They drew together people from all over the world, all different tribes, people from, really all over the world, to stand together to say, you know what, we've got to stand up for integrity, for what's right, for the good of all, and to look for solutions so that everyone can benefit. And I think that it really radiates an enormous message that all of us together can, in our strength, in our dignity, in our love, and a sense of peace, voice and be who we are and take ourselves, all of us together, for the good of all, to the next level. So that's what I want to share with everyone as we move into the new year of 2017.
Right on.
Awesome.
Hey, Peter,
So-
can we ask a quick question?
No.
Oh, quick.
Real quick. Gregory, Bliss Kiss wants to know, what do you have spinning in between you and Gail there?
Okay. Maybe you can see it better if it's like this. This is something we call the unity grid, and it is a higher octave of an icosahedron dodecahedron that intertwine. If that makes any sense. But it's a higher octave of the grid of the planet, and so it works with unity, it works with connection, it works with flow. And this is a star dodecahedron. That is a dodecahedron whose points come out in a phi ratio relationship. And so this particular form is operating at a level of, the Christ level of consciousness that's working with compassion and love. And so this is a particularly expansive tool for the heart and opening more love and consciousness into your life. And I'll just use that to segue into the end, which is, that's really why we're here as human beings, to be a conduit between the higher dimensions, between the higher aspects of ourself and the physical dimension. And it's an opportunity to bring through more love and more shift in what's going on with the planet. And the thing is, it's really important to understand for anyone who's listening that starts to get into a sense of, I'm alone, no one else sees this, or no one understands. There are millions of souls that are waking up, millions of souls that are being affected by the higher frequency energies coming in. And there are other beings like you that are wanting to make a difference. So it's so important for each one of us to connect to that place inside, like I was saying earlier, and then find what your passion is to share it with the world in a loving way. And that's going to start making a difference where you don't have to be afraid that things aren't going to change. They are. We have no choice but to go through the changes that we're all part of right now.
Awesome. Awesome. Gregory, Gail, thank you very much.
Good night, everyone.
Oh, thank you, Peter.
Thank you, Peter. We
Thanks,
always
guys.
have time together.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good night, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you guys next Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Bye-bye.